Hi, and welcome to Teach Start, and today we're going to be looking at Don't Smile Till Christmas. Now, this is a kind of philosophy to have as a teacher that every trainer I've ever worked with has universally disliked. Like, I've not found one person who stands up and says, yes, that's the philosophy to have as a teacher. In today's video, I'm just going to briefly explain what it is, explain why people hate it, and then explain stuff that maybe we can take from it. So, what does Don't Smile Till Christmas actually mean? Well, essentially it means start really kind of strict until Christmas. Don't make jokes, don't show any kind of personality. You are robot teacher. And then only after Christmas, when they kind of fear you as a teacher, then you relax. Now, it's pretty obvious to see why most trainers hate this, because part of teaching is showing your personality, is being yourself within a framework of being a teacher as well. Obviously, if you're one of those cool teachers who, tries to be friends with the students, then you're not taking the right approach in most circumstances, because kids will be kids, students will be students. They will take advantage of that. And so having kind of a teacher framework to work within, where actually you do have non-negotiables, you do have things that the students must do. You don't necessarily, or you absolutely don't see them as friends. Okay, they are the students, you are the teacher. I think some teachers take that hierarchy probably a little bit too seriously, and there's no relatable stuff. So that's why people hate it, is because it moves away from a framework of us working together, and that seems to be over the last 10, 20 years where education's going, where we as a teacher are working with the students together to get them to understand the topic or the subject. And Don't Smile to Christmas is very much ripping that apart, and it's teacher and student. And it's a very Machiavellian approach, as in, I think in politics they use that kind of philosophy of, be stern, be, authoritative, at the start, and then start introducing other kind of more friendly approaches later on. So, what bits of it do I like? Well, as I've said, that you can't start off with no rules, with no expectations, with no kind of hierarchy, not necessarily hierarchy, but no hierarchy at all in the classroom. You are the teacher, you are there to be responsible for what the students are doing and to ensure the students learn. A lot of students, or a number of students, don't know how to learn. They don't understand the process of learning. So your job is to teach them that process and then ensure that they follow through on that process. So it can't just be teacher and student at equal footing the whole time. Otherwise, if you find a student who absolutely doesn't want to learn, they won't ever learn, because you're never able to kind of push them in the right direction with their learning. I do find that some teachers I've worked with, in fact quite a few teachers I've worked with, their behaviour management issues later on were a result of them not being kind of structured enough in their lesson at the start. You need to create your own structure in your lessons. You need to have your non-negotiables with the students straight away. And what some teachers do is they have class rules. They have, say, 3 to 5 class rules that are non-negotiable, that are in addition to the school rules. And what good practice states, and is good practice, is that maybe the 3rd or 5th rule, depending on how many rules you have as a class, the students come up with themselves, that they have some ownership over it and some agency with it. And that's a really good thing, to have them come up with their own rule, obviously with the guidance of the teacher, because one rule can't be necessarily like every Friday we get donuts or something like that, although with some sixth form classes that works really well. But I think that you really need to think about what it is you want to do before you do it. So before you take on a class, think about, right, okay, what is it that I want that lesson to be? What do I want to achieve in that lesson? What do I not want to achieve in that lesson? And you stick to that religiously from September, October, November, December. It does sometimes take that long. It's actually a lot of times quicker than that, but it does sometimes take that long to embed your way of doing things to the students. That does not mean you don't smile. My goodness, like if I couldn't tell bad, horrible, ridiculous jokes, which are mostly self-deprecating, I wouldn't be a teacher. That would be not the job for me, to be standing there as a robot. And I'm very careful about what schools I teach in that allow me to be myself in the classroom. And there are some schools that I've worked with or heard about that absolutely want robot teachers, and I think you need to think carefully of whether you can be that. And it's much more difficult to have a open and free classroom for discussion, for people coming to you with issues. If you pull in this massive hierarchy as like, I am up here, you are down there, you're not going to have the students come forward with issues or with problems with their learning because they fear you. And in my head, and this has been true for my entire teaching career, if the students fear me, I have failed, because they are not going to be coming forward with issues or concerns or anything like that. I hope that's been helpful. I've gone a little bit outside the scope of what I wanted to do in this video, but I think everything has been quite important to kind of set the groundwork for why I think that Don't Smile Till Christmas obviously is ridiculous. However, some of the principles of it are actually stuff you should consider. Thank you very much for watching this video. Oh, before you go, you can subscribe to us here, and this is our previous video, and this is another video from us. We release videos every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday and Friday at 5 o'clock. Thank you very much.